Hi, did you know that Norway's men's national football team has never lost a football game to Brazil's men's national football team? Yeah, that's right. I'm going to be discussing this and many more football facts in this episode of the Football OG. My name is Olugbenga. Sit back, relax, and join me on this journey. Welcome to today's episode of the Football OG. In today's episode, we'll be looking at five football facts that you probably were not aware of, including Norway's incredible record against Brazil and the story of the man that played two football games in two different countries on the same day. So let's get into it. Are you aware that the Brazil's men's national football team have never defeated the Norway's men's national football team in any game, be it friendly or competitive game? Yeah, that's right. The Brazil's men's national football team have faced off against the Norway's men's national football team four times, and in those four times they've never picked up a win. Remember how huge Brazil have always been in the game of football. Remember that there is no way you're gonna talk about powerhouses in men's football without listing Brazil, no matter how biased you might be or no matter where your sentiments lie. But this same Brazil has never beaten the Norwegian football team a single time, despite playing against them four times. Did you know that since 1982, German club side Bayern Munich have had a player represent the club in every World Cup final that has been played till date? Just to put that in perspective, that would be about 10 World Cup finals till date. To put that in a bigger perspective, since 1930 that the World Cup started, since inception of the World Cup, 21 editions of the World Cup have been played. And to think that Bayern Munich have had a player in the final of 10 of those editions, that's almost 50%. That's almost half of the total finals that have been played in football. Is just outstanding. Although it helps when you have a football team as good as the Germans men's national football team. They're basically responsible for about half of those 10 appearances for Bayern Munich. Germany made it to the final of the 1982 edition of the World Cup, the 1986 edition of the World Cup where they lost to Argentina. I think the 1990 World Cup where they won against Argentina, and then they made it to the 2002 final as well as the 2014 final. And there is no way Germany would make an appearance at the World Cup without having a Bayern Munich player. So definitely a Bayern Munich player showed up in all of those editions. And then there were other editions like the 1994 World Cup where Brazil had Jorginho, who played for Bayern Munich at the time. In 1998, France had Vicente Lizarazu, who played for Bayern Munich at the time. And then in 2006, when France and Italy faced off against each other, France also had Willy Sagnol, who played for Bayern Munich at the time. At the last edition of the World Cup in 2018, France had Corentin Tolisso, who also who represented Bayern Munich because he just left Bayern Munich this summer. So Bayern Munich actually have a good luck charm when it comes to playing in the World Cup final. Okay, this one might be a bit obvious, but just in case it wasn't obvious enough, did you know that just eight teams have won the World Cup since its inception in 1930? It means that in the 92 years that the World Cup has been in existence, only eight teams have been able to lift the World Cup trophy. There have been 21 editions. It will be 22 editions in November when the World Cup kicks off in Qatar. But in the 21 editions that have been hosted so far, only eight teams have been able to lift the trophy. Those eight teams are Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay from South America. Brazil, of course, have won it a record five times, and then Argentina and Uruguay have won it a couple of times each. And then in Europe, there are teams like Italy and Germany who have both won it 4 times each. There's also France, who lifted the trophy 2 times as well, and then England and Spain who have lifted it on 1 occasion each. Did you know the former Inter Milan and Italy defender Giuseppe Bergomi actually appeared in 4 editions, 4 different editions of the World Cup without ever playing in a qualifying game for Italy? That's strange, isn't it? To appear in 4 different World Cups and not playing a single qualifier. Well, that's the story of Giuseppe Bergomi. At the 1982 World Cup, which he was part of the winning team, he was too young, and he got a very late call up to the team after the qualifiers were already done and dusted. And the 2 World Cups that followed in 1986 and 1990 were just by a stroke of, would I say, luck, or just or, well, I would call it luck basically, because Italy did not have to play any qualifying games for the 1986 World Cup because they were champions in 1982, which meant that Giuseppe Bergomi didn't have to play any qualifying games. And for the 1990 edition of the World Cup, Italy were the hosts, and you know what the FIFA rules say, the hosts do not necessarily have to play through the qualifiers. So Bergomi did not participate in that qualifying series as well. Bergomi went quite a number of years before he got his next call up to the national team, and that was in France '98. By then, he was aged 34. He also got a late call up after Italy had qualified for the tournament, and he actually played 3 games in that tournament, mostly because Alessandro Nesta was injured, and Bergomi had to fill in for him. So he played 3 games in the tournament, and helped his team to a quarterfinal finish in that tournament where they lost to the eventual champions, France. This one is my personal favorite. One footballer, 2 matches, 2 countries, the same day. Did you know that Mark Hughes, that's Manchester United legend Mark Hughes, former Blackburn Rovers manager Mark Hughes, actually played in 2 games in 2 different countries on the same day? In 1987, November to be precise, Mark Hughes was part of the Welsh team that played in the European Championship qualifiers against Czechoslovakia, where his team lost 2-0, and had to miss out on the tournament. But what was so funny about the situation was that even while he was playing that match, his club side, Bayern Munich, were due to play a German Cup game hours later in Germany. So Mark Hughes had a private jet waiting for him just for him to finish the game, which he did. Immediately after the game ended, Mark Hughes was flown all the way from Wales down to Germany, where he made it in time for the second half of the game and was part of the Bayern Munich team that defeated Borussia Mönchengladbach 3-2, thanks to 2 extra time goals from Michael Rummenigge. At least it wasn't all bad for Mark Hughes. He lost one and won one. But to play 2 matches in 2 countries on the same day, that's crazy, man. If you've enjoyed this episode and you'd like to keep up with latest episodes that come out from this channel, please click on the subscribe button and don't forget to like and share the video. Until we meet again next time, I remain Olugbenga, the football OG. Peace out.